So could drinking out of a red cup actually create criminals? Or are college students just exaggerating a bit with this new party ordinance? Let's take a look.
This ordinance is written in a way that is a little unclear and sloppy. All right. At one point, it talks loud and unruly conduct. So you need two things going on. Something that's unruly and it's loud, meaning we think too loud. And another place you talk about loud or unruly. So something might be unruly but not loud, or loud but not unruly. And then they don't define what they mean by unruly.
Let's define these things. Let's see if we can find out what exactly is loud and unruly. And see if this little red cup here could be the beginning of a criminal path.
I think loud means very overwhelming.
It could be in volume, in terms of volume, but I guess loud would definitely be something that's more abrupt.
Too loud to drown out for sleep. Like, that's too loud.
And when we look at the ordinance, we find about 50 decibels seems to be the standard. If you look, 20 decibels over 50 can get you into a lot of trouble as far as city ordinance is concerned. So what exactly is decibels? What exactly does 50 decibels mean? What does 70 decibel mean? Well, let's take a look at that. Actually, opening my drink was in violation. So this poses a very interesting question. How can we have laws and ordinances that are ridiculously unable to be enforced?
Well, they don't give a decibel level. If you refer to decibel levels in other levels, at other places in the ordinances, it's unusually low, and that's a problem, because what we're talking now. What is our decibel level? About 50.
Right now, our decibel is actually between 65 and 74.
And I'm not even talking loud. All right, so that's a problem. You could start closing down restaurants.
Let's take again a look and see what people think unruly is.
If it makes a disturbance outside of the perimeter of your house.
Unruly, when things get broken or you fear for your safety.
Crazy and you're not ready to handle it.
As I look further into this ordinance, it's so vague, it got me thinking. I was playing Nerf guns with my son, so I decided to test and see what a Nerf gun would be sound decibel wise. So when you cock and fire a Nerf gun, you're at 80 decibels.
Lock them up. You don't like your neighbor, but that may be why he made the call anyway. And another situation, police say we have a lot of troubles on our hands and we really don't care about Nerf guns. So you're either giving a lot of power to the neighbor to be more annoying than simply glaring at you when you pick up the mail, or you give a lot of power to the policeman to start imposing $500 fines.
The way the law is written, if I had a neighbor call and say, I think that they're being unruly because they're outside playing Nerf guns, it's loud and I don't like it, I could technically get a misdemeanor, and so could my 10-year-old son. I don't think a police officer would ever come and do that. I don't think we would ever get a ticket for playing Nerf guns. But the fact of the matter is, according to the way the ordinance is written, they could.
It's written as a law that's very, very broad, and it's not the way laws should be written.
So why don't we hear from our police station and see just what they have to say about it.
If you're having people over at your house and your dwelling can't accommodate the people that you have invited over, and now they're creating a disturbance outside. Cups. A lot of times when we see certain parties, people are serving drinks, whether they're alcoholic or otherwise, in red cups or black cups or what have you, and they're throwing the trash in the street, out in the front, on other people's lawns. Those are violations. That's an unruly party. If you've got amplified music and you have it in your backyard and you can hear it 2 blocks away where you're disturbing half the neighborhood, that can be construed as an unruly party. So those are the kind of things that we look for when we get a phone call. And just keep it in mind that the parties that we go to, they're call driven. So the police department's fairly busy trying to keep the city safe. So our officers aren't driving around looking for a party.
I'm still left fairly confused as to where the actual lines are. What exactly is loud? Well, he said if you could hear it 2 blocks away. However, that's not defined that way. Unruly's not defined either. So, shouldn't there actually be a clear definition of what loud and unruly is and what a gathering is? What is a gathering?
It should be clearly defined. And the cops, I mean, if it's their first or like second time happening, it should just be a warning, because most students that I know, they're going to school for a reason. Like, they don't want that on their record. They want to be able to have a good future where they're not denied a job because they got a misdemeanor for some ridiculous like thing that they did in college.
It's objective, like it's theirs. That's stupid. Everyone's gonna have a different answer on this thing.
It's really a dangerous thing to have because it can be abused in a lot of ways, and people can be judgmental to us just because we're Chapman students, and that's really not okay, and that's not really the kind of community we want to build here. We want to have a good relationship with the community and like get involved with each other and not have this kind of threat hanging over our head that says, hey, if you make one wrong move, we're going to fine you.
The law shouldn't be written to have the silly interpretations. I mean, I can see why you're right. Let's make it really strong and clear so we can get anybody and there's no defenses. The problem is that law is overbroad.
Bogus.
So, maybe the students aren't wrong. Maybe they're not being dramatic. Maybe this party cup really can land you a misdemeanor.
We're here for the party?
What party? There's no party.
So, red cup at your own risk.